Hello, welcome. So even if you were in class, there's some things here that we may not have gotten to. So check it out and see. But for those of you that missed it, no worries. I'm going to go relatively quickly. I'm Coach Newton, and you can always pause the video and pick it up as we go along. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So we've got to go to the Scratch MIT EDU website. And then this project link that you see here, projects 402913050, you'll see in a second, that is our starter project. That link will also be in the video show more comments down at the bottom. So if you look at the video, you can scroll down and you click show more, and I'll put that live link there as well. So the reason I showed you that is we're going to go here, and here we are. I'm logging in as a student, so make sure you are logged into the Scratch website, WA20BAT, and this is the link that will take you to that project, Story Setting CLP. So once you get to that link, you'll know you're at the right place. I'm going to refresh this so it picks up that I've signed in. So see the difference? I'm WA20BAT. You'll know you're not signed in if you don't see this remix. So that's going to be key for you to be able to use this project, is that you have a verified Scratch account, that your parents have responded to the Scratch email and verified it. You can then do a remix and share in the studio that we are using. So let's click remix, and you'll see right away this is a story setting code launch project remix. And I want to thank CSFirst. I gave credits there. I added the Scratch Cat as a character. Don't have to use that. It's a story that starts with a rainy day. We're going to add lightning, thunder, and then you go from there with your imagination. So you go where you want. The first thing I'm going to do is, if you don't want Scratch Cat, I picked Scratch Cat just to kind of have something there. I'll delete it for now. The way you delete a sprite is you click here, and then the little trash can's gone. And we'll add our story sprite now. Why not? Let's do choose a sprite. And let's see, I'm going to pick a fantasy creature. There are lots of cool ones. Ooh, what about a skeleton in the rain? Maybe it's a skeleton that's afraid. Oh, the Wicked Witch of the West. No, she'll melt into sugar. All right, let's click on that. I liked her. So that's going to be my story sprite. I'm just going to put her here for now. But as you notice, there's no code that's making the rain fall. So that's one of the first things we want to do. So click on the rain sprite down here. You see my mouse. And you know you've selected it if it has a blue box around it. And one of the first things we want to do is, this sprite is a very large drawing of all these little dots. And it's really hard. I can't even click on them. All these that look like rain. And the way to make it look like rain is we're going to make the sprite start at the top of the screen and then glide to the bottom of the screen. So remember, the coordinates of where a sprite is on this stage is the X location and the Y location. The Y tells you up and down. X is left and right. So with these two numbers, you can pinpoint any spot on the stage. So I know I want my rain sprite at the top. So let's go to motion, and we're going to want a go to location block. And I'm going to make these bigger so you can see it. So go to, and Y, I happen to know that Y at the very top is 180 pixels. So first I tell it to go there. I'm just testing it. And there's my rain, and it's a big sprite, so even though it's moved up, there's pieces of it that are still at the bottom here showing on our stage. And then I want it to glide to the bottom. So that's also a motion command, but I want it to glide to a specific location. You could have it glide to a random location, then your rain's going to go all sorts of crazy directions. But it depends on what you want to create. I'm going to attach these blocks, and you'll notice the X puts it in the middle, left and right. I want my rain in the middle, but my Y needs to be now a minus 180 to put it to the bottom. Now this is where you can play with how fast do you want the rain to fall. Let's test these blocks. That's 1 sec. Every time I click it, it glides for 1 second. So if you want a slow rain, a drizzle, there's 4 seconds, check that out. That's one effect. So I think I was using 3. I kind of liked 3. 3 is not bad. I'm going to go for a 4. I'm going to go for a slow rain drizzle. Okay, so you notice I click it once. It lasts for 4 seconds, and then it's done. So we need this to continuously fall. So this we need a control loop. Now, some students, if you want for the rain not to fall forever, you can have a repeat. I'm going to use the forever falling. So it's up to you. This is where you customize how long you want the rain to fall. Remember, you can always change it back. So I love it when students customize. So I'm going to use the forever now, and let's put that inside. And if you ever want to get rid of a block, you just drag it and drop it over here. Okay, let's test it. If I click it, there's my slow falling rain forever. If I decide I want it super fast, I could do 0.5 seconds. Click it again. Whoa, it's raining really, really fast. I'm going to go with 4 seconds for now. I like that slow rain effect. Okay, now I'm going to click stop. We need this to start when someone clicks go play on our project, the green flag. So remember, those are events. So you become really familiar with this in Scratch. You go to the events because lots of things start when you tell the computer to watch for that green flag to be clicked. And then this is what we told it to do. So test it out by clicking the green flag. Try it in full screen mode. I'm going full screen. Let's stop it. And there we go. Hope you like my secret sunglasses too. Probably haven't even noticed yet. All right, here we go. Stop. There we go. Now I want to exit full screen. So I just like testing as we go along. All right, so that's stage 1. So remember, you could pause, kind of finish up your code, customize it. Don't worry if it's broken. I'm going to go on to the next step. We're going to take a look. Let's see. What I wanted to do now is we want to add a little bit of lightning. Okay, so what I like about this project from CSforAll is they have this cool media. It's a really big rain sprite. The earth is kind of interesting. You could always draw your own, but it's kind of nice to have it there. But the real secret is hidden over here on the stage. So far we've been talking about the sprites. Let's click on the stage. Whoops, I'm clicking in the wrong place. Thought you could see my mouse. Here we go. It's over here, stage. Goodness gracious. There we go. Stage. There's my mouse. I found it. So if I click on the stage, now you'll notice we have not written any code for the stage. A couple things I want to show you is if you click on backdrops, there's the night sky, and there's a lightning flash. Now I added this. This is a forest scene. So remember, this is going to be a story where 1 or 2 characters or more, however many sprites you want to add to your story, they're going to start in a lightning storm. You have to decide, is it a scary story? What are they doing there? Are they lost? Is one character helping the other? Are they being mischievous and they got caught out in the rain? It's your story to create. But this is a lightning flash. But part of what we're going to build is I'm going to show you how to then transition to when the rain ends and they go somewhere else. So I chose my somewhere else to be the forest. Now you don't have to choose the forest. If you want something else, here it is. Choose a background. I'm going to click on that, and you can pick any of these backgrounds. So you decide where you want your characters to end up. So pick something just so you have it. So when I code it, you can kind of follow along. I'm going to go back. I'm sticking with my forest sprite. That's just where I'm going to have it go. Oh, you know what? I may change that mind. I changed my mind. Since I chose the witch, there is a fantasy, the witch's house. Aha, I'd forgotten. So they're going to go from the rain to the witch's house. So you notice I added it here, and I don't want the forest anymore. So this is, I click on forest, make sure you click on it, and then there's a little trash can. Okay, so now you've seen the backdrops. Let's go to the code for the backdrops. Okay, we have to tell the program which backdrop to start with. So let's pick that all-important green flag, and then looks. We have to go looks, the very top one. Choose the backdrop to start with. Well, I want it to start with the night sky. So whenever someone clicks this, it does the night sky. There's my rain. But now let's add some lightning flashes. And the way we do that is we're going to have the backdrops switch back and forth between the night sky or something else. Some students picked stars and some other background. You could change it. It's just the night sky is the one that's already there. and switch back and forth. So we need 2 more blocks. So we're going to need this one and this one twice. And we're going to switch between the lightning flash and then back to the night sky. Now, if I put these together and try it, I'm clicking on it. You don't see the flash. The computer is so fast, we need to slow it down so our eyes can see the change. We do that with control, orange control block, and we're going to need 2 of these waits. We're going to need one after it switches to the lightning flash. We wait a little bit so we can see it, and then it goes back to the night sky, and it waits a little more. Now, 1 second, if you notice, is a long time. It doesn't really look like a flash. So I had some students that had a long flash. They're like, why did it do that? They didn't shorten the number. So this, you pick what you want. I'm going to do 0.2 and 0.2. That's 0.2 of a second. And then I like to test it to see, that's kind of a slow flash. I want a fast flash. What about 0.1? I end up using 0.1 quite a bit for animations. Ooh, I like that. There's 1 flash. Well, this theme for the project of what we're learning is we're learning to use repeats and loops. So this is where I want to repeat the flashing, but I only want a couple of flashes. So let's drag out the repeat. I'm going to do 3. You can pick as many flashes as you want, but it's a burst of flashes. Let's test it. There's my boom, boom, boom. Okay. So if you attach this, watch what happens. We get our initial flash. But that was it. It's over, right? So let's add some more code to it. I don't want it to just flash once. I want it to be flashing lots of times like a real lightning storm. So I am going to use kind of the forever loop. But what we do is, since this is my 3 flashes, I want to wait. So let's say if we wait 3 seconds, and then I do my 3 flashes, and it keeps repeating that forever. Let's try this out and see if we like this effect. I'll put it here. It waits 3 seconds. Boom, boom, boom. Waits 3 seconds. Boom, boom, boom. Now, this is the other thing we're learning with this code is when you play games and things that are going to change each time you play, if this was your game, you'd be like, I know every 3 seconds there's lightning. So we need to add something called randomness. So let's click the stop sign. And this is where instead of always waiting 3 seconds, suppose we made it a random number, a range. Sometimes it'll wait 1 second. Sometimes maybe it'll wait 4 seconds. And the computer will randomly pick different times. So every time someone plays your program, it'll be different. And even you won't know when the lightning flashes will pop up. The way we do that is in the green math operators. You'll see I picked green math. And there's a random, the 5th block down. Pick random, and you'll notice it's oval. And it fits in this oval shape here as well. So let's put some numbers in. This could say pick random from 1 second to 10 seconds. I don't want to wait 10 seconds. I'm going to do like between 1 and 4. So sometimes I wait 4 seconds. Sometimes I wait 3. Sometimes I get a flash of lightning like 1 second later. I like this. If you want it to spread out a little more, you could do 2 to 5. And then what you have to do is we have to replace this number 3. And you notice I clicked on this, and here's my random numbers. 2, 5, 4, 2, 2. Where's my 3? It's not a very good random number. Oh, there's a 3. See, it's pretty random. Let's drag this into the oval, and you're going to replace the 3. You notice how that fit in there? You'll see it kind of lights up white. Dropped it in there, and there we go. Okay, now let's try it. Now we've got our rain, and sometimes it'll flash. This looks like it was 5 seconds. And it flashes 3 times, because remember, we decided 3. Now, if you want more of a flash, we could say let's flash 4 times. You get to pick, okay? All right, I'm going to click stop. Now that we've added quite a bit of code and made progress, make sure you do a save now. Save your project. And I would say share. This is a good point for you to just get in the habit of click share. Don't worry, you don't have to put it in the studio, but if you share and I could look at it and you need help, I could give you comments, and just, even if it's not in the studio, I'll look at it and give you some feedback. So I click share, and the other reason I did that is like, hey, your project is now shared. And this is where you put the instructions for your project, right? And you can rename it here, right? So I'm going to change the name to which is wet. Oh, I'm going to be funny. All right, I'm sorry. Which is wet? I can't help myself. Anyway, so that's my story. Which is wet? Tongue twister by accident. All right, and now the instructions are click the green flag to start. Or I like to say to play. A lot of people think of the green flag as a go play button. Click the green flag to play. Okay, I have some instructions in here. You could add credits. If you use art from someone, please put that in there. If you use a sprite from someone else, one of the students borrowed a sprite from another project. They were awesome. They told us where they got it from. Again, that's what the notes and credits are for. Let's go back to our code now that I've named it, and I know I've kind of shared it and saved it. I'm going to click C inside, and here we are back to the code. All right, so hopefully you're ready for the next step. Again, pause the video, watch whatever parts you need to catch up again, and I'm going to move on to the next step. So we've we did 2 steps in one there that I wanted to do. And now let's do something with the sprite you added. So I added the witch, okay? So why is my mouse going there? Okay, there's my witch. So click on your sprite that you added. I don't know, put it where you want it to start off. If you're going to have more characters coming in, place them now. But you'll notice there's something, if I play this, it doesn't look right. The rain is going in front of the ground, but, oh, there's my lightning flashes. Yeah, it's working. But the rain's not falling in front of her. Why? So think of sprites. Every sprite, now we have 3 sprites in our project so far. Each sprite is like a layer of paper. And that's what they call it in computer graphics, right? They're layers. And so you have to decide which piece of paper is on top, which is the first piece, which is the second piece, and which is the third piece. Well, we just added the sprite character of the witch, so it put that page on top. But that means she's on top of the rain sprite. Well, I don't want her on top of the rain sprite. So let's go to something in the looks commands. And this is where you have to scroll down. Again, I went to looks, and then I used this scroll bar here. And there's a layer towards the bottom. It says, ooh, look, go to front layer, go to back layer. Now, if I go to back layer, look what happens. She's sitting there. She goes to the back. So let's do this. Let's leave this alone. I need this block on the rain. I want the rain to go to the front. Okay, now I better move her back forward a little bit. Let's go to the rain. So I actually put this block in the wrong place, but that's all right. But it was a good example to see what you could do, right? So you could put one of your characters, if you go all the way to the back, one of them could be behind the hill. This is how you can change it. So I'm kind of glad I made that mistake. So I'm clicking her back to the front, and now I'm going to go to the rain sprite. And before it starts doing the falling, I'm going to do the same thing. I want the rain, and you'll notice I'm putting it in front of all the code here. And it looks like my earphones might be losing batteries. So let's see how long that lasts. Here we go. So I hope you caught this, right? So now the rain, if I click it, did it work? There it is in the front. So the rain will fall on any characters, okay? So I just wanted you to get that part. And I do want to do a save now so I don't lose my progress. You notice I'm paranoid. I've lost lots of projects before, so I want to make sure it's working. Let's take a look. What do I have to do next? Let's see. We've got a couple parts. Now, here's something that's going to be interesting. So we've added a character. Maybe you've added 2. I'm going to just program with the 1. We want it to react to the lightning, right? Or be part of the story. So let's go back to my witch and have it say something. So in the looks, if I click the very top, say something. What's happening in your story? Now, I don't want it to be in the front anymore, so I'm going to get rid of that block, right? I want the rain in the front. And I really don't like this rain. You could have your witch say, I'm melting, right? So at the beginning of the program, I need my event flag. And you can make whatever message you want for your characters, right? So this says, I really don't like this rain. Now that lightning's flashing, it would be kind of cool if whenever that happened, your characters reacted to it. So we're going to use another important concept called the messaging. So some of you may have done messaging, some of you may have not, but this is a great instance where the messaging can be used to coordinate reactions of your characters. So first we need to decide when we want the message sent. Well, I'm going to stop this program with the stop sign. And let's see, we want it when the lightning strikes. That's back at the stage. So this project has a lot of cool things moving, so we do go between the sprites and the stage. So make sure you're putting the code in this place you expect, or you'll get some funny results. And we had, for example, someone put the falling rain code on their sprite. So suddenly their sprite was falling with the rain. And then some students liked that effect. I thought that was an interesting discovery. And next thing you know, they had their character kind of flying up and down on the screen along with the rain. So you can use the code the way you want. Sometimes you have these fun discoveries. Okay, so I'm going to, in the stage here, if we look at the code, remember we're waiting a random time, and after it waits, this is when it decides to flash the lightning. So I'm going to pull that code out, and this is where we need that message. And the message is in the events section here, and you'll see when I broadcast, this is where we broadcast that there's a message about the lightning. So I'm going to broadcast, and I never leave it as message 1. I always call it something, because you may have many messages in your programs. Name it something meaningful. So I click new. You notice I pick the down arrow, new message, and I'm going to call it light strike. Light strike. And you can name it whatever you want. It's your message, whatever works for you. So now it says broadcast light strike. That happens after it waits a random amount of time, and then this is like the computer's waited, and it's like, go do the lightning strike, and I'm going to put this code back. Okay, so all I did was I inserted this message. Now, if I run this, nothing's really going to happen different. The lightning is going to strike once in a while, but it is sending the message. Now I need to program my character, my witch sprite, to react. So guess what? Down there in the events, I'm clicking events. There's a message that says, hey, when I receive a message, this is where you can have many different messages, but we have a message called light strike. What do you want your character to say? Wow, too close for comfort. Okay. Let's see if there's any interesting sounds here. Ooh, there's a magic spell sound you could play. Let's see what that sounds like. I don't know if you could hear that, honestly. Okay. Oh, it looks like it's playing. Yeah, it's coming through the audio. It's a magic spell. You could add that in there. Just for fun, I'm going to do it so you have the code. And I'm going to say start the sound, because I want it to start the sound, but immediately she says that. And again, you could add your own sounds into this. But now you notice whenever it receives the message, the lightning strike, and it's happening randomly, it says, whoa, way too close for comfort. The other thing you could do is if your character has multiple costumes, you could, I could make it do a frowny face. So I'm going to add that bonus code in here for you too. So looks, it depends on your costume, but I'm going to say, all right, when the lightning strikes, it plays that spell, and while it's playing, it switches to the frowny costume. She says, way too close to comfort, but then don't forget to switch the costume back to something else. So let's see, what's B? Oh, she's happy. I don't think she's going to be happy in this rain. We'll use that when she gets to her home. Yeah, she's a little annoyed in which C. And then don't forget, the beginning of your program, which costume do you want? So this is great practice to kind of pick. Maybe she starts with which A. I like that. She starts with which A. I don't really like this rain. It strikes, she frowns, and then after the strike's over and she's done saying this, it switches to this kind of other costume. And then we'll use the happy costume when she gets to her house. So I don't know if you've added some friends here. I'm not going to do that in this video because this has a lot of things in this project. We're still going. Okay, so I'm going to stop that. So hopefully this kind of helps you out. Okay, so let's see. Some other things we want to do is, okay, so you understand how to use the messages now to kind of have your characters react. You could even have the earth talk and say something if you wanted to. I don't know, that would be kind of funny. I'm not going to do that. I'll let you guys do that. I just thought of that now. Okay, let's see. let me check. Okay, what do we want to do next? Okay, let's do some lightning strikes. We haven't added the sounds yet, so I want to kind of show you this project has some cool things with sounds. So let me go back here. This is what's secret, a little bit, not secret, but it's hidden. I call it hidden because if you click on the stage, typically you don't expect to find unique sounds on the stage, but in this story it makes a lot of sense, right? Because the sounds are unique to the background. So these are sounds, so pay attention because I went to the stage, and then I went to not backdrops, but to the sounds library. And you'll notice there's some cool sounds already here that are not in the normal Scratch library. So that's why I like everybody to have this project. At least if you have a remix of it, you can use these sounds in future projects of yours that need it. So there's rain. And you'll notice it's 32 seconds of rain sounds. Rain and thunder. That one's not bad. That's 18 seconds. 19 seconds of just thunder. And heavy thunder. And then just the rain falling. Okay, so I'm going to do two things. So I just wanted you to know where these sounds are. I like the rain to be playing like all the time while it's raining. So that'll be one set. And at the same time, when we get that message, I want the heavy thunder or maybe the thunder strike. I'll do the thunder strike. So I'm just looking at what we have. So now that we know what's in our sound library, let's click on sounds here. So remember, I wanted something playing forever. I'm going to add a new forever loop. So you'll notice that's in control and forever. And I'm going to put the rain. And I need it to play until it's done. If you pick the other rain, it'll just try to loop, loop, loop. I'll show you the difference. Or I'll let you experiment. Try both in a forever loop and see what happens. It's important you understand the difference between these two because it kind of explains that the computer's waiting for a long sound to be done before it does the next thing. This doesn't wait. It starts the sound and right away goes to the next block. And if you keep telling it to repeat, it'll kind of mess. It won't sound what you expect. So I want you to try that on your own. And I'm going to put my green flag. So you notice I kind of have another separate event. You don't want to do that too often in many projects, but this one's pretty good. So I've got the rain always falling. And here with the, and I also want when the lightning strikes, hey, remember we already have a message. So I could say, hey, when I receive lightning strike, I want it to play the other thunder sound, right? So I'm going to say start. I'm going to do start sound. I'm going to use the start one that does thunder. So let's test this now. I really don't like this rain. And there's the thunder. And it only happens when it gets that lightning strike. All right, so you've got a pretty good complex program going on so far, right? So I think that's the piece I wanted to add there. I'm just checking to see if I missed anything. I think this is pretty good. And we didn't do a lot of all of this in all the classes, so that's why I kind of like going through this now. I'm just checking my notes to see if I missed anything. We do have the randomness. Yeah, okay. So now let's see. Let's get our lightning bolts going. Okay, so we kind of have a character, but we want a lightning bolt. And something we didn't get into a lot of classes is earthquakes. So we need a lightning bolt. Now, some people picked a character sprite. There is an existing lightning bolt. Lightning, right? Now, I'm not going to use that one, and I'll show you why. I'm going to kind of draw my own. And that way I show you how to do that. Choose a sprite, go to paint, and here we go. We've got our little paintbrush. So I hope you saw that. I picked paintbrush, and it created, you'll see it's called Sprite 1. I'm going to name it just so that way we've got it. I'm just going to call it Bolt. Bolt. And I'm going to draw it. So let's see. Actually, let me do it with a big paintbrush. I don't want it to be so straight. Now let's pick the color for our lightning bolt. I do saturation, so you can make whatever you want. There's a pretty bright yellow one. I want it to stand out. And then this is my brush size. How big do I want it? That's not bad. Let me undo right here. I'm going to go with the 20 and just kind of draw it. So it's going to be like zigzag. All right, and I'm going to draw like a little arrow kind of part where it hits the ground. Oops, that kind of looks funny. All right, so there's my lightning bolt. Now don't worry, it's kind of squiggly. It's kind of funny. But draw your own, or use the other code there. That's fine. I wanted you to know how to do it. And then we go to the code. Now it's a little bit big. An easy way for you to change the size of that sprite is I'll try 50. I like a big lightning bolt. I'm going to try 80. Okay. All right. So I'm going to also turn it a little bit. I'm going to have it kind of come up out of this corner here. And I'm going to drag it so it's kind of just barely off the screen. Okay. Now you notice we don't have any code. So in the beginning, we don't want this sprite showing, right? So we need the green flag, looks, and at the bottom, scroll down on the looks, and you want to hide it. So there you hide it. So now when the green flag is clicked, there he is. He's hidden. We can show. We're going to need this show block for sure. Click on the show, and you'll just see where it is. And the other thing is, since the lightning is going to be striking at the ground, we need a block of motion, the blue motion, that tells it where to start on the screen. Remember the coordinates we talked about? Well, since I've dragged it up here, the computer is telling me that's the X location all the way to the right and the Y location upper corner. So the numbers are both very large. But this block already has the numbers in there. So this says, you know what? Go to that location. So I'm going to make it go to that location and then hide. Now, when do we want it to show? Hey, we created that message, remember? The lightning strike. So when I receive the lightning strike, it's going to show, and I want it to go and glide somewhere. So I'm going to make it like strike. I don't know. You could have it strike maybe down here. You can have it strike close to your characters. Some students did some other things I won't reveal. You can watch their projects and give them some feedback if you liked it. I'm going to have it strike right here. I'm going to make it kind of go pretty far. So I'm dragging it to the final location, and the reason I'm doing that is then I can say glide to that new location. That's a motion block. And there, glide. Now, a 1 second glide from here to there, that's the lightning strike. That's kind of slow. So I'm going to make it glide in, I don't know, half a second, 0.5. Okay. And let's try it. I don't like this rain. Whoa, there's my lightning strike. You see that? Now, what's the problem with our code? We made it appear, and we made it show, but now it's just stuck there in the ground. So I want to show you something else. So let's do something a little fancy. We're going to go to the costume tab. Again, this is for the bolt. And we're going to add another little costume here. So let's see. I'm going to do this. I'm going to say duplicate. Okay, I don't know if you saw that. I'll delete. I'll do it again. We have our lightning bolt that we drew. I right-click, and there's an option for duplicate. What that does is it copies, and you notice it made a second lightning bolt. It's called costume 2. Now what I'm going to do is on that costume 2, I'm going to pick the select tool, and I'm going to kind of collapse my lightning bolt. Oh, that's almost too much. And maybe erase some of it. Here's the little eraser. I'm kind of erasing. Okay. And then I pick the arrow, and you'll see why I'm doing that in a second. And then this is the fun tool, this little blob tool. It lets you kind of draw. Let me go a little closer. This lets you kind of manipulate your blob. I want to draw kind of like what it looks like when the bolt hits the ground. So that's what this new costume is being used for. So I don't know, you could make it look whatever. And then for fun, I'll draw another little color inside. Let's do this. I don't know, just for a little variation. And this will be my inside color, inside blob. And I shape it with this tool. Again, you can do your own artwork. I'm going to try not to spend too much time on it. So this is what the costume is on the ground after the lightning bolt hits. Okay? So this is what it does. It hits there and goes blop. Now you could make it larger maybe. Let's do that. I'm going to make it a little bigger. I select the whole thing and then I center it here. Hopefully you'll follow this. Again, if you're kind of lost, the drawing, there's a lot of things in the artwork. Practice, you'll get better at it. Pause my video to go, what did he do? And then come to ask questions in the project comment section if you have questions. So all I wanted to do is to kind of create a second costume. And let's go back to the code. So now I have to tell the project which costume to use. So in the looks, in the beginning, the lightning bolt is costume 1. He switches to costume 1 and he hides. Now he's costume 1, he glides down, he hits the ground in half a second, and then I want him to switch to the next costume, which is that little blob. Then I kind of want it to wait. I don't know, how long do you want it to stay on the ground? Maybe a second. And then I need it to hide again, right? So let's do a hide. And I need it to switch back to that back to the first costume, right? So I just kind of use a next costume command. So that way this always goes back and forth between the two costumes. Let's see if I coded it right. I'm going to do a save now and give it a try. I'm waiting for a lightning strike. It's kind of working. The blob is ending up off the, whoops. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, we missed something. I realized what I missed. So did you see the bug, the problem in the code? So this is normal. Everybody makes mistakes. That's why I like testing it. The lightning was already here. I did everything right, but I forgot to make it to go back to the original location. So it just stayed at the ground location. So remember, we have this block up here. That's the starting location. I'm going to right click on that, duplicate it. So then I say, hey, hide. Please go back to that top location and switch back. So all I did was I was copying it. Now let's try it. Okay, now you notice when it strikes, the way I centered it, the blob is kind of off. So I'm going to stop it. The easiest way to fix that is in the costume, this blob here. I'm going to draw a box around it and kind of move it down. I think this was the new location, kind of like that. And that's okay. I'm just being picky about where it is. Now let's try it. We'll do one little test because I want to show you at least one last piece. This video is getting long. Boom. But you get the idea, right? The blob disappears. And you can say, wow, that was too close for comfort. And you could also have the witch say something about the lightning strike, right? But this way you kind of have the code and you have an idea of how to make it switch between the original lightning block and kind of a blob on the ground or whatever happens, right? So some animation. Okay, I'm going to stop it. That rain's making me feel like it's raining outside. It's kind of funny. Okay, so let me check my notes. So that was a lot we did there, as you can tell. It makes it pretty cool with the lightning bolt. I wanted to make sure all of you had a chance to kind of see different ways to do that. And now the other part we haven't done is earthquake, okay? So we're going to really use that message to make the ground shake. Now, this is kind of fun, so let's go to the sprite for the earth. Okay, we haven't given it any code yet, so let's see. Let's make it react to the message, right? So I only want the earthquake when that lightning bolt comes out. So that's become very useful message. We're kind of using a lot of things to happen, but that's the way some of these programs go. Ooh, my green screen's fading out. It's getting dark here, so the lighting's changing. So when I receive my lightning strike, I want the earth to move back and forth. So just in case I mess up its location, let's lock down its location here. This is where it's at when the green flag starts. Since I'm going to be moving the earth back and forth, I want to make sure if I mess up, I can put the ground back to its starting point. And remember, left and right movement is moving the X location of it. So let's go to motion. And again, we have to scroll down. And we're going to change the X. So if we're going to go back and forth, we need to do that to tell the computer once go this way. And we need the command again to go back. So change X. Now, in one case, it's X by 10 is going this way on the over here to the right. And X by a minus number is 10 to the left. Now, again, remember, if I click these together, it moves so fast, our eyes don't see it. So remember that idea of if you're going to move things, you need a little bit of a delay, a wait. You need 2 of those. And if you want it to be kind of fast, you don't want it 1 second. So let's try 0.2. Let's see. Again, this is where you customize your earthquake effect. Let's try this. Oh, it kind of moved. 10's not big enough. I want a big earthquake. I'm going to do 30 and minus 30. So this is where you got to make sure the numbers match, because if it moves 30 that way and you only make it sure it comes back 10, slowly your ground's going to be moving across your screen. Okay, now that works okay. Now let's do a repeat. I'm going to make it shake 10 times. That's still too slow. I'm going to do 0.1. That's a very weak earthquake. I want a fast shaking earthquake. Oh, that's not bad. 10 times. That's not bad. 10 shakes. I like that. Now, again, you play with the numbers. Get the earthquake effect you like. It's only going to happen when the lightning strikes message comes out. So let's check it out. Oh, it seemed almost delayed, didn't it? It's kind of moving. It's interesting. I'm watching this, and it does look like, it seems interesting that it seems like there's a delay. Anyway. Yeah, I wonder, it's interesting. It does seem like, to me, I see a delay. I don't know. I'm curious to see in your programs if you noticed that as well. It seems like it did not start right away when it received the lightning strike. It's almost like that message was sequential. Anyway, but this does give you the earthquake approach to try things. All right, so now you've got a lot of stuff going on. Oh, I stopped it in the middle. Okay, so hopefully you've got the earthquake part. If, again, you add the parts that you'd like to have in there, you don't have to have those messages in there. And then the last piece, oh my gosh, there's a lot to this program. There's something we didn't do. We didn't do a rainbow, a spawning rainbow. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to leave the very last part. I'm going to verbally describe it. I'll do the rainbow sprite because I think that's fun to have. But I'm going to talk about, so the challenge for you as a coder is I'm not going to give you the solution, but how to make it switch background. So remember, we had created a different stage backdrop that they're supposed to leave the rain and go to the witch's house. So my challenge to you is at some point, the witch waits for some time, and then you are going to switch the backdrop to the witch's house. Now, when you do that, that should trigger a bunch of things. A is, if it goes into the witch's house, the rain shouldn't be there, right? So you have to hide the rain. Then the earth shouldn't be there because that shouldn't be inside of our house. So you have to hide the earth. And then the lightning bolt, well, the lightning bolt is always hidden. You have to stop the code here. You have to stop these other scripts. So I'm going to leave that as a challenge to you. I'm not going to give you the solution. So that way, when she goes to the home, it does all of those things. So there's a lot of code to add there. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense as a challenge. And if not, you can add comments. Where I'd like you to put comments are, at the bottom of this project page. Let me do it. So this is where if you get stuck, remember this initial story setting code launch project, put your comments and questions down here. And I'll look at that. So if you get stuck like, hey, I couldn't get this part or that part, I'm curious your comments on those. Okay, I hope that helped. The piece that we're missing, let's start over. Okay, there's my rain. I did want to show you how to do the rainbow piece. I think that one's kind of a fun one to have, and we didn't really do that. So I think it's kind of a super bonus project piece you can do. So we're going to need another sprite, okay? And this other sprite is going to be drawn in art. It's the paintbrush. And I'm going to go with these circles and make them kind of big. I don't know, 30. Or no, I'm sorry, the paintbrush, my bad. 30. And you're going to make, let's try 30. And let's pick the color. These are the color of the rainbow. So there's my red dot. I'm going to click it once and then change the color a little bit. There's my orange. Click my orange, kind of attached to it twice. I clicked it. Change the color. Clicked it. I think you're getting the idea. I'm going to zoom in so you can kind of see what I'm doing a little bit. And I'm changing the color and clicking kind of, this is going to be my rainbow swipe, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I know this is going to be, I'm going to make it a little quicker. So those of you at home, you can add more colors and make it larger. I just wanted you to kind of see what I'm doing. Yeah, I told you this project had a lot of stuff going on. Okay, so we've got this rainbow sprite. I'm going to want my rainbow to be right around here somewhere, so I'm kind of dragging it to the starting location. We're going to use an extension down here called stamping. So the stamps come down here. Now, this is going to be interesting because I need some special goggles for this. This is special change into my glasses. I have the ability, it's not supposed to be widely known, so guys don't spread this around. But I use my inside the code view. This is how I can see inside the code, if you notice, right? And it gives me special powers, so just don't tell anybody about this. It's meant to be kind of kept secret. So we're adding this pen extension. So oops, sorry, did you see that? Let me go back again. I clicked down there and I clicked on pen. And what it did is it added a bunch of commands right down here. And you'll notice there's pen that didn't exist before. We're using stamping to create the rainbow. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this command called stamp. And again, we're doing this on the rainbow sprite that we just created. And we're going to have it stamp it and then turn just a little bit. So let's have it turn. Let's try this. Stamp, turn. Now let's make it turn just, I don't know, 8 degrees. Let's try 8. Stamp, turn 8. Let's repeat that. Let's just try. Let's see what it looks like. Put that. Let's try 30. See, I like to experiment. Let's see, 30. Ooh, there's my rainbow. Now it definitely went, oh, there it is. It's circling all the way around. You see it? There's my kind of rainbow. Now that's turning 8 degrees. What if I turn 3 degrees? It kind of goes slower. You see that? There's my rainbow sprite. Okay. Now you can play with it. And you notice in the layers, it's all the way in the back. We can decide when do we want the rainbow to come up, right? So it's up to you. There's a lot to code here in terms of events. I don't want the rainbow to start there in the beginning. So remember, we have to hide it. And there's a block command for pen that says erase all. So we definitely need to erase it. So that way it's not there in the beginning. And then we have to hide it. So this is just the basics. There's a lot more we could do with this, but I just wanted you to have the code. So it hides. And then let's see, we'll repeat 120. I just want to make it go all the way around. And then what it'll do is it'll stamp. So let's try this. There it is. There's my rainbow. So that just happens based on the program. So you have to decide when do you want this to happen. Is there an event that makes the rainbow happen? I'm going to just kind of make a rainbow happen 5 seconds into the program. So it's kind of hidden, and then it's going to wait 5 seconds, and then I get a rainbow. But I just wanted you to quickly see how the stamping works. And and then that way you could see how to use the stamp, and you could do some moving and turning as well, depending on what you want. So I'm curious to see what you do with this code and create with it. So if we look at our program now, I'm going to do a save now. We go full screen. Whoops. Where did it go? There it is. I really don't like the rain. I could be in the program. Whoa, the lightning hit. There's my earthquake. And there's my rainbow after 5 seconds. So we could use the rainbow to trigger changing the background to her house, right? Like, get me out of here. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one. This one had a lot in the project. This is a much longer video than I expected, but I wanted you to be able to kind of see all the different pieces and enjoy the code. We're going to move on to the end. If your parents have any questions, they can send me an email at codeon@panucation.org. Please send me an email if you haven't yet, parents. It's going into your spam folder. Check your spam folders. Some parents have found my emails in their spam folder, so it helps if you send me an email first. It clears out. You can find my website at panucation.org. We'll see you next time. Code on.